York Minster is the kind of place where you quickly run out of words to describe it, and it's been talked about such an awful lot in its long years. So I went there wanting to hear some fun stories to share with you, and I think you'll enjoy them. We have headless saints who can't spell, kingly calves, a doomstone, a Cheshire cat, and a famous drunken sailor. Welcome to York Minster. York Minster is ancient, the fourth Christian church to exist on or near this site, and the church we see today is about 800 years old. This makes it a great backdrop for medieval movies, of course, and when one such movie was being shot, the director insisted that the modern semaphore saints be removed for the shoot. These headless sculptures are at the easterly end of the church and spell out "Christ is here" in semaphore, the flag language of sailors. The sculptures were duly removed and then replaced when filming finished. Not long after, a tour guide was explaining that they spell "Christ is here," when one of the group said, "No, they don't. I read semaphore and that says Chris is there." So down they came again, and then they were rearranged correctly. At the other end of the nave is a carved stone screen with 15 kings, from William the Conqueror to Henry VI. All but one of the kings has a long robe, but King Stephen's calves are showing. The story goes that he was very proud of his shapely legs and never wore a long robe. It was knee length only for this king. So it stands to reason that's how he would be represented for eternity, with his shapely legs on display for us all to enjoy centuries later. From a Norman king to the Norman crypt, this is the only part of the previous Norman church that still survives and was discovered in 1829 following a fire. It had been sealed during the construction of this minster, with no records of it surviving. Imagine how exciting it would have been to discover it. It's beautiful and eerie and feels like a proper crypt. My favourite bit is the doomstone, which shows lost souls being pushed into a cauldron to be boiled alive by demons for their earthly misdeeds. I really love how medieval art is so explicit in depicting the terrible fate that will befall those who step out of line, and this one is a real beauty. In years gone by, the crypt housed a family of cats who kept the resident rats under control, but sadly those cats are no longer here. One cat that is still around is a Cheshire cat. 700 years ago, this cat was carved in wood in this room where the business of the minster was attended to, the chapter house. There are dozens, maybe hundreds, of faces in here, of animals and people and angels and demons, each one unique. This cat has the big eyes and vaguely threatening vibe of Lewis Carroll's Cheshire Cat, and was suggested to be an inspiration for the character in a 1970s Norwegian guidebook for York, according to a recent visitor who pointed the cat out to one of the staff members. This wonderful staff member was a great source of interesting stories, and he spotted me in the lineup for Evensong and delighted in telling me about the drunkenness of Noah, one of the many, many panels in the amazing east window. The east window alone contains over half the medieval stained glass that has survived to the present day, and this panel shows Noah in an embarrassing state of inebriation, and his 3 suitably mortified sons attempting to cover him up. Try as I might, I couldn't spot it from the ground, but all of the images are available online. I'll put links in the description for you to check out. The glass at the minster is amazing. Beautiful, important, unique, skillfully made. I could spend months staring at it. It's incredible that so much has survived. Civil and international wars, the Reformation, storms, misguided repairs. We are so incredibly lucky to have so much of it. I was rather horrified to learn that some earlier repairs were carried out by plumbers instead of glaziers. Nothing against plumbers, of course, but the repairs they made tended to create more and more cracks. Plumbers were skilled in working with lead, which made them candidates for repairing the windows, but sadly, each time they used another strip of lead to repair a crack, it placed pressure at each end of the line, which then caused further cracks to occur. As the windows are brought down for repairs, some of this damage can be reversed with modern glues, but it's a long and expensive process. The east window, which took 3 years to make at a cost of £56, recently took 10 years to repair at a cost of around £20 million. The window currently being restored is the Cuthbert window, which initially I was sad about, as I thought I wouldn't be able to see it, but then I realised they've set up a great display in its place with explanations of St Cuthbert and his life, and some of the actual panels of the window set up and backlit at eye level, which I won't be able to see up close once the window is back in its place. I felt really lucky, especially as my next stop is the holy island of Lindisfarne, where Cuthbert lived and is still revered. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a great time making it. Obviously, most of these stories are anecdotal and I don't have any citations to share with you. The facts and dates have mostly come from the Minster's own guidebook, so presumably they're correct. I'd love to hear your stories or thoughts about York and the Minster, and it would be wonderful if you would subscribe.